Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Betting Pros PGA podcast. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice. That's Bo McBrayer. And we are going to spend the next 30 minutes or so discussing the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am from a betting perspective. We'll tell you who we like, who we don't like, who we're betting. And we're also going to give you our one and done picks at the end of the show, although that's not my favorite segment these days. And I'm very excited to discuss the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Traditionally, not one of my favorite events on the PGA Tour calendar, but this year they are making some major changes to the format, and personally, I love all of these changes. We'll talk about the new format and also recap last week's Farmers Insurance Open in just a moment. But first, I do want to mention that this show is now sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Many of you are familiar with Underdog's best ball contest for fantasy football, but Underdog also has golf contests. Sign up for Underdog if you haven't already with the promo code BPGolf to get your first deposit matched up to $100. Plus, there is a special pick available for you in the lobby. More on Underdog Golf Contest a little later in the show. All right, Bo. Yet another tournament and yet another long shot winner last week at Torrey Pines. 31-year-old Frenchman, I know, 4 in a row. 31-year-old Frenchman, Matthew Pavon, fended off final round playing partners Nikolai Højgaard and Steven Jaeger to win with a score of 13 under par. One shot better than Højgaard, and Pavon made a harrowing 8-foot par putt on the final hole to clinch the win. It was quite a finish. Boy, he really had to scramble on the par 5 18th, puts his drive into a bunker, puts the layup into some thick rough. Not exactly a textbook par on the 18th hole, but Pavon, who went off at around 125 to 1, and I believe, Bo, only his third PGA Tour event. And get this, he became the first French golfer to win on the PGA Tour since World War II. How's that for history? So a couple of takeaways for me, Bo. Pavon was the main story, but I was so impressed by Nikolai Højgaard. I was sure he was going to win on Sunday, and I suspect he would have won a playoff had Pavon not been able to get that final putt to drop on the 72nd hole. But Højgaard, the 22-year-old Dane, just has so much game. It wouldn't surprise me if he wound up having a Victor Hovland type of breakout season. I think he's that good. I think that's the reason he was selected for the Ryder Cup team last year. You can just see it with him. I mean, he is seemingly impervious to pressure and just pretty good all around. So the other one, Tony Finau's ball striking this past week was good enough to win. It was absolutely good enough to win at Torrey Pines. But for his putting, Bo, those POA greens really vexed poor Finau. And I don't know how many times he hit his approach shot to 10 or 15 feet, only to miss the birdie putt. And it seemed like it was happening to him basically every hole on Sunday. So on the one hand, probably a good sign for Finau that he's so dialed in with the ball striking. On the other hand, that performance does not exactly make me eager to bet him on the POA greens this week at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Bo, anyway, any takeaways you had from the Farmers Insurance Open?
Højgaard was one of them. He was in one of my DFS pools that I created just because his upside is extremely high. Like you said, 22-year-old from Denmark. His brother was in contention on the DP World Tour last week. So Rasmus Højgaard and Nikolai Højgaard both in contention, and they're just so talented. I don't know if we're going to see that Hovland type breakout time this season, maybe next year or the year after that. He's still very young, unpolished. We saw how he struggled to kind of close the deal on Sunday because nobody was really going after that win. I was hoping Xander Schauffele, who was my one and done pick last week, was going to make a charge on Sunday, and he shot 2 under par. He pretty much shot even par for that final round and for after the first 3 holes, and that was it. So nobody really went and got that tournament. Pavon made that amazing shot from the rough on 18 to seal the victory, and that was it. But I mean, that's all. These guys are so talented. I was making the joke that with the way the 54-hole leaderboard looked, that the U.S. team is not going to win the Ryder Cup anytime soon, because this was like your alternates for the Euro team, not even guys that were Ryder Cup eligible yet. The Ryder Cup alternate Euro team was the entire top 10 of Torrey Pines last week through 54 holes. And you end up getting first and second being Højgaard, who is going to be a Ryder Cup mainstay. Pavone, we'll see. He's a really nice winner there. I hate to say it, but I think this week we might get a fifth in a row, even in an elevated event.
We could, Bo, but the thing is there are not many guys with triple-digit odds in this field just because it's only an 80-man field, and it's actually a really good field. I mean, it's hard to find any guys who don't have any sort of chance to win this tournament. Like, I mean, I think you could see, I don't know, there's 60, 65 guys in this field who could win this week, I think. So it's going to be a really interesting event. Yeah, so now we're traveling up the traveling north up the California coast to the Monterey Peninsula.
Let's go.
That's right, for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. And so let's get to those format changes I teased earlier. Now, in the past, the first 3 rounds were split between 3 courses: Pebble Beach, Spyglass Hill, and the Monterey Peninsula Country Club. Now, Monterey Peninsula CC is out, and I'm not really going to miss it. It's 1 round at Pebble on the first 2 days of the tournament for all these guys, 1 round at Spyglass Hill, and then the entire weekend will be contested at Pebble Beach, as it should be. Also, now we had that Pro-Am event in past years. Still going to be Pro-Am, but the amateurs are only playing the first 2 rounds with the pros. No more will we tune in to watch the PGA professionals play Pebble Beach on Saturday, only to have to watch George Lopez and Huey Lewis hitting bunker shots.
Or just the CEO of Oracle. It's just...
Yeah, exactly. Larry
we
Ellison.
See the celebrities, not necessarily the local billionaires that just want to go and have a round.
Or Larry the Cable Guy, for that matter, Bo. I do not need to see Larry the Cable Guy hit iron shots. So weekend coverage is going to give us some of the best players in the world playing one of the most iconic courses in the world, Pebble Beach. And finally, the tour has designated this as a signature event. So the 80-man field is a pretty star-studded one. In past years, a lot of players, top players, skip this event because, well, who wants to be stuck dragging around amateur playing partners for 6-hour rounds? But no more. Loaded field. Oh, and one other thing, this is also a no-cut event. So all 80 players are going to play all 4 rounds. And yeah, Spyglass Hill, par 72, 7,041 yards. Not a long course, but smallish POA greens. And then we have
difficult.
Yes, sir. And then we have Pebble Beach, par 72, almost dainty by tour standards at 6,972 yards. But these are the smallest greens on tour. And as with Spyglass Hill, the greens are POA. So you talked about it last week, Bo. POA greens are tricky. We're going to see the pros miss more short and medium range putts than usual. I think I saw something like 15-foot putts at Pebble Beach are about a 25% proposition even for the tour pros.
That's wild.
It is wild. Driving distance, not a big factor at Pebble because it's a shorter course, and there are some holes where you simply run out of fairway.
Zero factor.
So, and Bo, we often get rainy weather at this event, and this year will seemingly be no exception. The forecast is calling for rainy conditions much of the tournament. I believe the only day where they're not forecasting rain is Saturday. Yeah. And we should probably acknowledge the possibility that this event could be shortened to 54 holes because of the weather. We've seen that happen in years past. Maybe not. Let's be optimists. Yeah. And we're going to see a little breeze throughout the tournament and maybe a lot of breeze on Sunday when they're saying 15 to 25 mile an hour winds. Temperatures in the mid 50s, Bo. What's going on in California? Not exactly balmy conditions.
Now, this is par for the course, no pun intended, for the northern coast of California in February. And so, yeah, this is to be expected. The rain, it's not going to be heavy enough to call anything off. There's no thunderstorms. There's no torrential downpour in the forecast. We're talking about sporadic rain showers throughout the weekend. Thursday, Friday, going to be chilly and wet. That's pretty much Monterey. Half of the year, that's what you get. Even in July, yeah. It's chilly, rainy, windy, overcast, foggy. You're going to get all that. And Pebble Beach is gorgeous regardless. It's going to be a challenge, especially if that wind picks up. Spyglass Hill is going to eat some of these guys alive if it's windy with that one round on Thursday or Friday. So I can't wait because I love carnage. I love watching the best golfers in the world go around a little 7,000-yard course and struggle. It's going to be a struggle bus for everybody this week. And I do think that we might see a winning score somewhere around 10 under par. Well, a lot tougher than in years past, because signature event means two things. It means that you get the better golfers, and it also means that they're not going to mow that rough like they have in years past.
So, defending champion is, I believe, Justin Rose, and he is in the field this week, although at longer odds. Anything else that jumps out to you about this event, Bo? Anything about the course, the formats?
I love the dropping of Monterey Peninsula. Back when I was a kid, my dad took me to this tournament, and I got to see Vijay Singh and Phil Mickelson and all those guys trudge around Spyglass and struggle mightily. Pebble Beach struggle mightily. And back in those days, Poppy Hills was the third course. And then they switched to Monterey Peninsula Country Club, which I think is just a trash course. It's not even worthy of a mini tour event, honestly, compared to all the other courses in that region. They could play Bayonet Black Course. They could play all these other amazing courses within 20-minute drive of Pebble Beach. And they chose Monterey Peninsula Country Club for no reason. I don't understand it. So I'm happy they dropped that. It's just Spyglass and Pebble Beach, which are right next to each other. They're on the same road, and they are both brutally difficult in when the conditions get a little moist, which is going to be the case this week. I love it. I'm excited to see another long shot winner. I'm going to be throwing some dark ones out this week.
All right. Well, we will get to the odds in just a moment. But first, go sign yourself up with our friends at Underdog, where you can make picks on your favorite golfers all season long. Just pick higher or lower on selected stats for 2 to 5 golfers, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single day. You can also make rivals picks, for example, selecting which of 2 golfers will shoot a better score in a round. And golf picks can be combined with players' stats from other sports as well, making things pretty interesting. So sign up for Underdog if you have not done that already with the promo code BPGolf to get your first deposit matched up to $100. And there's a special pick available for you in the lobby. And next week, they are rolling out 2 big contests for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. So be on the lookout for those. All right, Bo, let's check out the favorites here. As of Monday afternoon, Rory McIlroy, playing in his first PGA Tour event of 2024, was the favorite at plus 750 on DraftKings. Then we have Scottie Scheffler at plus 850, Xander Schauffele and Victor Hovland at plus 1200, Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa and Jordan Spieth at plus 1800, Colin Morikawa at plus 2,000, Ludwig Aubert and Justin Thomas at plus 2,500, and Matthew Fitzpatrick at plus 3,000. Anyone you like from this group, Bo?
Well, naturally, if you run any statistical model on a second shot golf course, such as Pebble Beach or even Spyglass, they're both pretty similar, where driving distance matters 0%. We're looking at guys who can get close on approach from short to mid-range approach distances, and you're aiming for postage stamps. So another correlation to around the green game. So naturally, you're going to find that Rory, Scotty, and Xander pop up at the very top, along with Victor Hovland. That's no surprise there. As far as what I like to see is success on putt greens, which goes beyond just putting. It's putting, it's chipping, it's all the things put together. Strokes gained from tee to green. Xander Schauffele is the one I like the most, and I like that his odds are better than 10-1 instead of Rory and Scotty, who honestly are just too short. I'm the kind of golf better where if I'm getting less than 10-1 payout for an outright winner, I want a guy who actually does well on these types of courses. Rory, with these short approach distances, shaky at best throughout the last couple of years. Scotty Scheffler, of course, it models out amazing here because he's the best approach player in the world. He's a great off the tee player. His around the green game is really good too. However, last time we saw him at Pebble Beach, he missed the cut. So that doesn't tell me that he's going to be overly confident in his chances to win this week. He very well could. He's the best golfer in the world overall. But I'm going to start with Xander Schauffele at 12-1 because he fits the course the best. His approach game, short distances, his around the green game is impeccable. And of course, he's one of the best putters on POA in the world.
I'm with you, Bo. I don't want to bet anyone shorter than 10-1 in a field this good. It's just the price is not right. And I think Xander Schauffele is probably a good place to start looking at top players. Jordan Spieth, Bo, really good track record here. He has finished top 10 in this event in 6 of the last 10 years, including a win in 2017 and a second in 2022. In his only other PGA Tour start this year, he finished 3rd at the Century in Hawaii. He was in good form there. And Bo, on this course, on Pebble Beach, he can put away that bulky driver. And that definitely interests me in Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, I can't agree more. This is Jordan Spieth's golf course. If he can survive his 18 holes at Spyglass, which are tree lined, and even if you're taking a long iron off the tee to find the fairway, you can find some trouble there. But if he can survive Spyglass on that first or 1 or 2 rounds there, then the Pebble Beach thing, he just loves it there. He's a perfect fit. His short game is so good that even if he does get a little erratic on approach, this guy can chip in from anywhere. As far as putting goes, he knows POA greens very well. He's always done well in California, despite being a Texas native. This might be the one place where I would say Jordan Spieth is a lock to be top 10 and have a very good run at winning outright.
Yeah, and you mentioned there are a few Parkland-style holes on Spyglass, and if he can stay out of trouble there, he should be in pretty good shape. Patrick Cantlay, his last 3 appearances here, 11th, 3rd, and 4th, although Cantlay has not been in good form the last couple of weeks. He played the last 2 events and did not crack the top 50 in either. So no interest in a guy who's coming in with no steam at all, Bo?
There's still some interest because he, again, has a great track record here. Short game, putting. This guy's just so good around the greens that you can't really count him out. I just don't know that he's going to be able to survive among all these other top-rate golfers. When we see Cantlay win, it's kind of when he's the top dog and everybody kind of expects him to be there. I don't think very many people expect him to hang with all these other top golfers in this field. And he kind of shrinks under pressure. I think the top 50 thing the last couple of weeks is because he might still be playing those rounds. He's one of the slowest paced golfers in the world, and it seems to get into his head even more when it comes down to Saturday, Sunday, moving day, Sunday. If he's under pressure, then I know he's not going to win because he takes even more time and he psychs himself out. So yeah, you could bet him top 10, but I'm not going to bet him outright at all.
On the bright side, the slower pace of play with the amateurs on Thursday and Friday probably won't bother Cantlay at all, considering the glacial pace. Come
on!
When the amateurs are asking Cantlay to play faster, it's tough. And then there's Max Homa, another native Californian, hasn't played here since 2021, but in his last 3 appearances at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, he's finished 10th, 14th, and 7th. Any interest in Homa?
Some. He's another guy that is, good, but he's not a top tier golfer for me. He's like the next tier down. I put him kind of behind the Colin Morikawas of the world, even Justin Thomas, who's getting shorter odds than I expected. I would favor in a place like this over Max Homa. He's a fine player. I just don't know that he has that elite upside that I'm looking for to place a bet in that range. If he was down closer to 35 or 40 with Finau and Fleetwood and Sungjae, then yeah, sure, that's fine, because Homa's a really good golfer. But I just don't know that if he earned his 18-1 odds this week.
Now, if you want a chance to win a free 1-year premium Betting Pros subscription, you need to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video, and that's it. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Let's talk about players we may or may not like in the plus 3,500 to plus 5,000 range, Bo. We've got Tommy Fleetwood, Sungjae Im, Sam Burns, Ben An, and Cameron Young at plus 3,500. At plus 4,000, we have JT Poston and my guy, Nikolai Hogard. And then we've got Tom Kim and Jason Day at plus 4,500. And at plus 5,000, we have Russell Henley and Eric Cole. Who jumps out to you from this group, Bo?
Surprisingly, JT Poston is the one that screams off the top of the page. Like, as soon as I ran my first couple models, JT Poston was up near the top. And as I kept running it, he kept popping up. And so everybody else in this range is really good. I don't know if this kind of type of setup is going to suit Hogard's game. I really have doubts about that. But as far as a course fit and everything that we're looking for, JT Poston with a little bit of Tom Kim sprinkled in, surprisingly. I was surprised to see him pop up in my modeling, but not too high. But JT Poston is the one that really stood out to me, and he's going to be the one that I ride at 40-1.
Tom Kim debuting here, I believe, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, so Poston, we're due with him, Bo. I mean, we've been liking him for a while now, and are you confident that his skill at putting is not going to be in any way negated by the POA greens, which can be so, I don't know, bumpy and random on some of the shorter putts?
No, I really don't. I don't think that's going to be a factor for him, because a lot of those putts are shorter. Like you mentioned, 25% on a 15-foot putt. I mean, that's just because Pebble Beach is difficult. Everything slopes towards the ocean. Even if it looks like it's sloping the opposite way towards the inland side, then it goes towards the ocean. As long as you can read where the putts are breaking, the bumpiness doesn't really take you off of your line. It just says, hey, I'm going to play some mind games on you, because along the whole line, you're going to see the ball oscillate on its way to the hole. I don't think that it really affects anybody that much, other than just the mental aspect of trusting your line when you're setting up your putt. This guy can putt his brains off. Though JT Poston, his approach game, his around the green game, his putting overall, and just like you said with Spieth, is just take that driver out of the bag. You have a bunch of forced layups on these two courses. Just hit the ball in the fairway, make a solid approach shot, and start making some putts. And as far as everything that I'm considering this week, JT Poston is in the top 5 of all of that in this entire field.
Now, here's an interesting case. Jason Day. In his last 8 trips here, dating back to 2015, Bo, he's finished in the top 11 7 times. 7 of 8 top 11 finishes. But last week at Torrey Pines, a place where he's had a pretty good track record, he missed the freaking cut. What do we make of him this week at, reasonable odds, plus 4,500?
Yeah, unfortunately, his approach game has been miserable in the last 4 months. And so I'm off of him completely, because strokes gained on approach, especially in the distances where we really count it here between 125 and 150 yards. Jason Day is outside the top 50 in this field, and that's not good enough. And the way he's playing now is his strengths are not going to be amplified on this course, and his weaknesses certainly will be. So as well as Jason Day has played here in the past, his recent form gives me a lot of concern, especially in a field of this caliber. And I'm happy to say that there is good news, is you don't have to play him in the one and done anymore because you used him already. The bad news is he missed the cut when you counted on him the most.
Brutal, just brutal. Thanks for the salt in the wound there, Bo. Appreciate it. A nice shaker full of Morton right in there. Longer shots and long shots at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Tell me about the guys who interest you at plus 5,500 or longer odds.
Hideki Matsuyama here, 60-1 odds is an insult. It's an absolute insult. This guy plays well here all the time. He's playing out of his mind hot. It was awesome last week. Just didn't have enough to win. This guy just with an iron in his hand, an iron player, is so pure. His around the green game is so pure. If he can find a putting stroke that works for him on this course, we could see a very, very quick ascent to the top of the leaderboard for Hideki Matsuyama. 60-1 for the way he's playing. It doesn't make any sense at all.
What about Bo Hostler at 55-1? He had a good week at Torrey Pines last week, finishing in a tie for 6th. And in his last 2 trips to Pebble Beach, 3rd and 11th.
Yeah, he's definitely on my mind here. I don't mind betting him top 10 at 5-1, but I don't think he has the juice to make an outright run here.
What about Kevin Yu? So he's plus 8,000, 80-1. He's on a heater. Top 6 finishes in each of the last 2 weeks, and he finished 7th at Pebble Beach last year.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's an absolute stripe show out there from tee to green. He's really fun to watch. He's also an extremely bad putter. And where he was so close to the hole last week at Torrey Pines, we didn't really care that he was missing a lot of birdie putts. And that's what killed him at the end of the tournament, was the fact that he couldn't make enough birdies to justify those great approach shots and incredible drives. He's Tony Finau light, basically. He's going to make a lot of birdies. He's also going to shoot himself in the foot many times, especially when this tournament's going to be set up quite a bit different than it has in years past, just layout wise. Pebble Beach has got a lot of teeth. Spyglass has even more teeth. I don't know that he's in that quite there where 80-1 makes sense for me. I have a guy, Chris Kirk, right there at the same number that I'd much rather play.
What if I told you, Bo, you could get the defending champion at 90-1, and he is a longtime international star, Justin Rose? Does that interest you at all?
Not on the betting ticket. I think it's such a different tournament than it was last year that honestly, he was almost the class of that tournament last year. I think he was 30-1 odds going out last year when he won. So this is a whole different animal. Rose kind of hung around at Torrey Pines for me in my DFS lineups I had with him in there. The dude is he's solid, but again, this whole odds making thing is if I'm taking a shot on a guy, I want him to make some noise. I just don't see it. I just don't see the upside with Justin Rose in a field this strong.
Yeah, recent form has not been good. He has not been sniffing the leaderboard in his first few events of 2024. So I can totally understand that. All right, we will get to our betting cards in just a moment. Download the free BettingPros app for iOS and Android. Sync your sportsbooks in less than a minute to automatically track your bets across all sportsbooks in one spot. After syncing, you will enjoy access to detailed bet analytics by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. You'll also get insights and personalized recommendations for props, game picks, and more tailored to your interests. To enjoy the benefits of Sportsbook Sync, download the BettingPros app by visiting bettingpros.com/apps or search BettingPros in the App Store. All right, Bo, as of now, what does your betting card look like?
So I did start with Xander, and then I go with a little Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth, I'm going to bet a trifecta on. I'm going to bet outright top 5 and top 10 because I have a feeling he's just going to dominate here the way he has in years past. I'm going JT Poston, Chris Kirk, and I have 2 long shots. Lucas Glover at 150 to 1 popped up number 2 in my model overall. This dude is nails in all the right places for this type of golf course. And as long as he can make any putts at all, this guy's going to be dialed in on approach. He's really accurate off the tee. It's just everything I'm looking for. He hits all the boxes there. And then Sam Ryder at 300 to 1. I'm going to take a few shots at.
Yeah, long odds on a pretty good player. So I like Spieth outright at plus 1,800. You might be able to talk me into the win place and show their bet there, Bo. I am going to take Hogard and ride the wave here at plus 4,000. I'm also going to take him to finish top 5 at plus 900. We'll see if Pebble fits him or not. But
that'll be a nice payday.
That would be. And then I'm going to put down smallish outrights on Bo Hostler at 55 to 1, Kevin Yu at 80 to 1, and you know what, Bo? Justin Rose at 90 to 1. I'm interested at those odds for the defending champ. And just for you, Bo, I think I might bet Kurt Kitayama to finish top 5 at plus 1,800. Just pretty good odds for a top 5 finish, a photo finish for a guy who's a good player. Playing close to home.
Somebody mentioned somebody from NorCal in this whole thing because
that's right.
The tournaments in NorCal. I mean, obviously, Chico and Monterey are 3.5 hours away. It's a pretty big state. But one thing about Kitayama that turned me off of him was that his form at Sawgrass and Pebble Beach were a lot worse than his form at Monterey Peninsula. He killed Monterey Peninsula. And of course, that course is no longer in this event. So we'll see. But I mean, obviously, I'll root for him. I root for him every time he's in the field.
Now let's get to our one and done picks, Bo. Any momentum I might have had with Adam Hadwin's 6th place finish 2 weeks ago, snuffed out by Jason Day, who, as we mentioned before, missed the cut, gave me a big fat 0. You went big with Xander Schauffele. He paid off solidly with a tie for 9th, good for $236,000, $236 and $250. So that pushes you well over the $1 million mark for the season. I think you're at about 1.1 million. I'm at about 380,000. So yeah, I've got some ground to make up. I pick first. I am going to go with Max Homa, Bo. I want to get him in California. We're running out of chances. It's either here or at the Genesis in a couple of weeks, and I've got some other Genesis specialists I've got my eye on for that one.
Man,
so yeah, I'm gonna take the California boy, Max Homa. How about you, Bo?
I'm surprised that you're not saving him for Riviera because that's a lot better fit for him, in my opinion. I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth because he owns Pebble Beach, and I really don't trust him as far as I could throw him on any other golf course, maybe except for the Wyndham. But it's similar course structure. The short courses, they demand good approach game and an amazing short game. Let me go Jordan Spieth because I have a feeling I don't want to use him the rest of the year anyway.
There are a couple places where I trust Jordan Spieth. I've thought about this, and it is, but I can't argue with him in a one and done here. Like, this is a good spot for
That's
him.
It's appealing for me because it's a win-win. I think he's going to be fine overall. No chance of missing the cut, and I have a hard time believing that he's going to be out of contention.
All right, so Max Homa for me, Jordan Spieth for Bo, and that's going to do it for us this week. I want to thank, once again, our sponsor, Underdog. Sign up for Underdog if you haven't already with the promo code BPGolf to get your first deposit matched up to $100, plus a special pick available for you in the lobby. And come join Bo and I again next week when we will be previewing the always sunny, always rowdy Waste Management Phoenix Open. Until then, so long, everyone.